Paul, you are already in here. Anastasia, you are back too. I see you guys. Let me just get myself set up. All the technicals. I can see some info. Hi, I'm back. It's been a while. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by the guidelines. I can't see my face yet, but I can see that several of you guys are in here. There we go. Hi. I missed you guys. It's been a while, and I debated on whether or not I would jump in here today, but it's been motivating. I started back to work this week. Let me see if I can get that going. And it's been really motivating to like have something to do. Is that Oz? Is that you? Oops. Let me see here. I have to live chat. There we go. It says, love to Rachel, 3 a.m., ready to vibe with the wolf pack. Got my cup of cacao and snuggly blankie. Oh, that's awesome. I need this right ear, I swear, is smaller than the other ear. And this stuff always pops out of it. I gotta jam that little earbud in there. Can y'all hear me better with the earbud? Because you're dancing, Pre-Paul. You gotta dance for me. I can't dance yet. I was just getting dressed this morning and I like to like put on music and sometimes I dance when I'm getting show us your tattoos. That's interesting. I have this one. I have one on my back, but I can't show you. This one? Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, you can hear me loud and clear. Good. I had a lot of clients tell me they prefer these than just the regular phone or the other headphones, so they must sound better on your end. This is my tattoo. It's the voice of the martyrs symbol. Have I told y'all that story? When I was a missionary. Hi! Hi, Sarah. I'll get back to it. I'll get back to the story, but everyone's coming in, and I always feel like I have to say hello, and I'm glad to see everybody here. I hope that you all are doing well because it's been a month. Really, I do these once a month, so it hasn't felt like I've lost much time with you guys here. But my weekly videos, I stopped for a while when I was recuperating. Still recuperating bit by bit, but it's been very motivating to see you all and to have a reason to get up and get dressed and just get going. It's funny how when you don't have a reason or motivation to get the makeup on and get dressed, and then you just don't. I just don't if I don't have. So it feels good. It feels very satisfying to kind of get into routine and feel like, okay, I get a lot, I have a deeply fulfilling job. So I miss it when I don't do it. And when I've been away from you all, so I love connecting with you all. Okay, I'll get back to my little tattoo bit. I think I've told you guys about them. But Z-Bell, did I pronounce that right? That's that tattoo. So I used to be a missionary in inner city Oakland, East Oakland. And one day, um, we lived in this little, and we're like 8 of us in this little duplex, this little two-bedroom duplex. So we had all these bunk beds. And anyway, one day this book appeared on the doorstep and just like fell from the sky. I don't know who dropped it off. We never found out. But it was the Voice of the Martyrs book. And if you've never heard of that organization, I don't even know if they're still around, but at the time it was really relevant for me and profound for me. It was an organization that got you in touch with people being martyred or persecuted for their faith. And it told stories of martyrs or those that were willing to die for what they believed in. And at that point, it was very volatile in the neighborhood that I lived in. We had just had a drive-by and they had shot up our house. So there was a lot of people leaving. And I had to feel like I felt like it was a message from Spirit saying, are you willing to die for what you believe? So that seems like a simple question, but it's not. At least for me, I considered it very profoundly. So when I decided, yes, I want to stay, and this is what I want to do, no matter what, and then I got this tattoo with that logo, which is the crown of thorns on one side and the globe on one side. Everyone says it looks like a basket when they see it. So to each his own. But to me, I wanted it to be like a constant reminder. I wanted to see it, to have a sense of my identity being sold out in this lifetime to what I believe. So that's where that comes from. Okay. Now we're going to move on because this time is for you all, which I really would love to honor. I want to use it all. And remind you, if you've never been with us, I can see there's 12 of you guys in here now. Thank you for joining, because your air is cumulative. Um, the the air that we breathe, the spirit that we put together, the energy that we share is cumulative when we're here. So you are helping support one another, and I am grateful for that, genuinely. Okay, let's see your questions. You type in the question if you've never been here. Pre-Paul did it right before we started, and it has a question mark first, and then you type out your question just so I can identify that it's for me and it's not just a comment that you guys make to each other, which I encourage those too. But it helps me see it. Okay, let me see. There we go. Preet Paul says, any wisdom from the beyond beautiful super shaman teacher of mine on being the all expansive ecstatic energy of the spin? You always ask questions that I feel like you know the answer to, Preet Paul. Being the energy of it. When you embody, and I always share this, when you embody any energy, essentially my encouragement would be to activate all aspects of your multidimensional self. So, all aspects that you have access to, that you activate those, which just means that you make them active in your expression. So, if you can see it, if you can feel it, if you can smell it, if you can taste it, if you have sensation around it, and then if you activate also the psychic aspects of doubling the energy. So, you would move into spherical awareness, right? A spin is directional, but then you can create a sense of like a globe, spherical, and then make it larger and larger and larger. And then when you move into the multiverse, you kind of open up dimensional aspects to that. So you can visualize and uphold and spin on various dimensional planes. Just kind of keep adding to your multidimensional experience. Those layers are always available. You just have to essentially initiate them by the thought and then align it, which is thinking and essentially syncing up in that focus. It's the internal focus that feels very centered, and there's a groundedness to it, similar to a gyroscope, right? When you talk about a spin, there's a center pole that's very um, like the center vertices. And then both axis points are spinning to create a sense of balance. So I would encourage you to do the same. Okay, next question, Anastasia. Oh, Sue, I see you in here too. Diva art. I love that. Okay. Oh, dang it. Every time I talk, then it goes away. I have to click it again. Live chat. Here we go. Do you have any thoughts on where the war is going? Any possibility of a nuclear war or a world war going to happen? I hope this horror is going to eventually end. Let me sit into that. To be honest with you, I have not felt that it's going to go nuclear. I have never felt that. I have never had premonition around that, or fear, or for me personally and my experience as a sensitive and shaman, when I have an awareness, a precognitive awareness about something, particularly death or destruction, anything negative that's like very heavy in its energy, particularly death, destruction, these major catastrophe type of energies. I typically feel them right in my stomach. I viscerally feel them very clairsentient energy-wise. Like I feel like, like almost like it makes me want to retch. And then from there, I feel it first, and then I ask Spirit, "What in the heck is this? Where is this coming from?" Da, da, da. And I kind of go through it from that perspective. I tell you that because I haven't had that experience for the war. Um, I haven't had an experience of, awareness of any sort of precursor to nuclear war. I do feel like the energy is dissipating. I feel like basically it's spreading out. When I feel the energy of that, it doesn't feel so singular. It feels like the energy is spreading out. And the motivation to keep going is also loosening. All of that is similar to the way strings will loosen and fray. It feels like that to me in terms of my clairsentience, like things are loosening and starting to fray. This is always a sensation of things kind of coming to an end or they're losing their energetic power. And and so when that happens, just by natural course of energy, they dissipate. They fall down or they break apart. And this is where I feel like the war is going. I feel like it's going to break down. I feel like things are going to, the energy is going to have less power as it's continuing. I hope that's encouraging. Um, I know when you're in the middle of it, Anastasia, it's scary. Um, and I would hold to that level of peace and whatever peace is available to you in those moments. Because when you're living in a place, similar to the way I compared like living in the inner city where there's shootings and people that die, every night there, it's a volatile environment. When you're living in an environment like that, you're still having to live. You're still having to live. You're still having to cook dinners. You're still having to function. And there's an amazing aspect of our human quality with the soul being incarnated into a body, like the eternal part of us that is incarnate into a body. We have this incredible ability to survive, to eternally continue, to live, to still have life moving through us. And I know that sounds simple, like your life continues, but it's really not. It's pretty amazing how we can still have that life force no matter what's going on around us. And I feel like that's our connection to our eternalness and our consciousness that knows that everything is temporal and short term. So I would come back to that. The simplicity of your living that still is very true for you because you still have to do all of the living, no matter what the environment is on the outside that creates a sense of stability. Mm. I see some coming in. I'm glad you guys are here. If you are new to our group, then we say welcome. This is a fantastic, amazing group of people. So I'm glad you're here. Okay, dang it. That right little earbud. Let's try to jump ship. Okay, next question. Oh, Stephanie in here. Hey, love. Oh, that makes me happy. So many of you guys um, throughout me and kind of my healing have been so supportive. So I really appreciate that. A few of you reached out and kind of reached out to me personally. Oh, Brittany's in here too. Thank you guys. I feel just supported by your energy here. I'm glad to see y'all. I know everyone is busy and Fridays can get kind of busy, but this is a beautiful time to come together. Okay, so next question, Oz, it says, what do you feel from healing ATM? Is the vibration on the planet? Oh, dang it. What is ATM at the moment? I'm so not cool. I'm so not cool. I was just thinking about that like today. I was like, because I was doing a reel for this. I was like, "Oh, I gotta do a reel." And I remember talking maybe like a year ago to my marketing lady, and she was like, "You have to start doing reels." And I was like, "What's the minimum amount of technology?" Oh, it hurts to laugh. But I was like, "What's the minimum amount of technology that I have to keep up with to keep going?" Like, there's always something new to learn, and I am in awe of it, I appreciate it, but part of me is like, what's the I don't have a lot of interest other than connecting with people, to keep it up. But that being said, I just got it at the moment, okay? So ATM at the moment, Oz, I think I've got that right. What do you feel from healing at the moment is the vibration of the planet? You know, the planet to me feels very pocketed right now. Like when I feel the energy of the planet, it looks like a honeycomb or like a geode with some pockets in it where there's crystal clusters. Literally, that's what I see in my vision, where it's pocketed, and parts of those pockets are hot and parts are cold, similar to the way that you would do kind of a temperature scan, just in my own clairvoyance and even the clairsentience of it, the sensation of like a geode. And you think of the tactile sensation of the sharper aspects of the crystals, right? Areas where they are soft and areas where they're gritty like sandpaper. The same is true for the planet. It doesn't feel like an overall, like this is where we all are. I feel very, it feels distinctively pocketed with particular energies. And so, with that being said, It it almost feels like they're counterbalance energies, like, in some areas, it's very hot, and in others, it's very, very still, and there for instance, Anastasia was asking about the war, and that's where she is, and then there is an aspect where I'm seeing a lot of people completely off grid, completely green, completely just, like, mm, basically connecting and being a part of nature. Not and living with nature, among nature, as nature, and of fighting, um, and those pockets. So I'm seeing both. So the energy feels very, very balanced in the way that it's trying to create a counter energy for itself, but it is in extremes. So the messages also that I feel like are coming through, and I've been even as I took a break for my own health, I have slowly, like I said, been getting back into working and just doing like 2 hours of clients a day, just like little bits. So I'm still seeing things and still, tuning in and aware, and even more so when I was in the hospital or when I was alone and healing. There's a lot of interior consciousness space that's really beautiful, and being aware of that, it feels like the answers and the messages are in extremes. So when you say healing for the planet at the moment, to me, it feels like the healing is coming from that balance, from bringing the extremes into a center median. Now, this is happening. It will happen naturally because all things on this earth, all frequencies, they desire harmony. There is a aspect to the vibration in all things that will seek out harmonious frequencies. It will seek out the balance. So even when we start in extremes, if we have another polarity going on another side of the globe, there vibrationally will come a point of equalization. So we're kind of coming to it, but where we are at the moment is typically experiencing a lot of the pockets of extremes. So some of us are wanting to pull away, that like the example that I gave, and I'm seeing a lot of that with clients that are going completely off grid, completely off of social media, off of phones, off of anything really, and just getting back to the natural state of life, nature. And then the other aspect where there's a lot of choices being made just from a space of fear or a space of needing to protect oneself, kind of primal in those areas. And they're coming back to a space of balance and equilibrium in the middle. So, when you are working, those of you that are light workers, when you are working with energy and sending out energy from this space, if you visualize a globe or if you visualize the earth, if you get imagery with that, or you get sensation, or even colors, right? If you can bring them in to that oscillating center point, that is our place of peace and balance. It's very simple. Like when I explain it, it sounds like, oh, we're bringing balance to globe, but it is simple. It is simple in the expression of it or the doing of it, and just or sound. If you're working with sound, working with different pitch and bringing them into a space of center harmony, or if you're working visually, working with a linear spectrum and seeing two different polarities coming into the middle or a balance. All of that is healing. Mm, big questions. And that's helpful for all of us. Oh, someone is knocking at my door. I don't know who it is. I can't see. Someone's knocking at the door. Uh-oh. Sorry. I didn't anticipate it. Okay. I am scrolling down for more questions. Hydothi. Did I say that right? How do you navigate from the emotions that come from premonitions that involve loved ones? Oops, transitioning. Cancel. Hold on. There we go. How do you navigate the emotions that come from premonitions that involve loved ones transitioning to the spirit realm? Thank you for all you do and are. Oh, I love that. Okay. How do you navigate? I'm going to be real with you all. I always am. But my answer to that is that you let go, and especially transition. Transition and helping people with transition, or witnessing or being aware of and conscious of transition or other people's exit points. I think the my advice is to, maybe if you can't let go, what you can do is respect and love the individual and your family that you care for enough to honor their transition in whatever way, shape, or form that comes. Now, when you get a premonition, I will say that premonitions, when we get them, there is a sense of, it can also communicate responsibility, it can communicate change, it can communicate. So they're not always the same premonitions, but sometimes when you get one, there is a sense of like, I should do something with this, or I should say something. There's an energy of responsibility that comes with this. So I would first pay attention to if there's a subtle layer that feels like action is required. Now, oftentimes when I get these types of premonitions, it feels like there is a reason or a meaning. It doesn't just feel like I'm letting you in, or that you're privy to information that not everyone else is privy to. It's not omniscient, okay? If you can pay attention to the subtlety, you'll notice there is a difference. A premonition that comes with just awareness or consciousness, it's almost like they're just asking you to hold space for it, to just be conscious, to respect that person. And sometimes it's an awareness to help others in our vicinity that may have more of a difficult time with that transition. But because you were aware of it ahead of time, you had a space of readying your own. Um, when we are at that time of transition, if you already have the premonition about it, what is beautiful is that it feels like you are able to soak up that time to squeeze every moment out of your interactions with the individual, to ask the questions you wanted to ask about their life, to encourage them to share wisdom, to speak into them the way that you would give peace, without even giving away that, hey, I've been given a premonition about your upcoming transition. You don't have to speak that, but you can just um, make the moments count. That's the easiest way to say it. And whereas everyone else, sometimes when they don't realize that transition is happening, they're caught up in a lot of the immediacy of the need, right? Or depending on what you see with the transition, if it's something, I don't know, it just depends on the way you see it going down. But all that being said, there is a beautiful ability of just utilizing that time that really feels like you can usher in a space of peace. You can bring peace into a room by just bringing laughter. And, without saying, I think you're about to pass away. Let's get some peace up in here. Because I can tell everyone's nervous and freaked out and doesn't want to say the wrong thing. Instead of, you don't even have to communicate that. You just bring in and you usher in the energy of peace because you feel at peace with it because you've had time to process. And then it also gives you a space of like, I can bring in some joy. I can bring in some laughter. Remember when this happened in this moment? If it's family and we did this and you said this or somebody tripped and then everybody laughs and you're in a moment that's just like, it's a good, genuine moment. And because you had that premonition, you were able to bring and totally shift the energy. These things seem very simple, and they are. It's literally like bringing in a joke, but this can be life changing for people in the room that are really struggling with a heavy energy or a weight of making decisions of whether to keep people on life support. These are heavy times. So when we are energetically aware and can consciously manipulate, not in a way that's manipulative, but in a way that is creative and conscious of trying to bring in the best in that moment, it can be so profoundly healing and helpful for all those involved. So it is a blessing, even though sometimes the blessings can, shake us up the first time they come in that way. I'm encouraging you. There is reason. If that's become to you, there is reason. And you can handle that. Sending you love and strength, strength, strength. Okay. Oh, Anastasia, I love that resonates so much with what you feel and the confirmation. That's how I feel like when we are speaking, or those of us that are speaking the perspective of spirit, it should always feel like confirmation, right? Because we're tuning into the same energy. I'm not tuning into something that only I have access to. I'm tuning into consciousness that we all have access to. We all have access to that. So it shouldn't feel strange. It should feel very resonant and confirming. And I hope that is peace giving to you. It should be. All right, Sarah. Hi, Mama. It's been a while. It says, what is your advice on using angel numbers to understand messages? I'm getting lots of messages right now. Sorry. I needed to turn on my do not disturb sign. I forgot to do that. Okay, here we are. Wait a minute. I scrolled too far. Oh, Rob Edwards, I see you too. Okay, wait, where did I lost the question. Oh, there it is. What is your advice on using angel numbers to understand messages from spirit? I like numbers. I like numerology. Sorry, y'all. I have to kind of adjust every so often. I have like business on top. I did my hair. I straightened it. Didn't take a shower. Can I say that? But I did. I did. I have a gift at my front door. What do you mean? Is that you? You're not there, are you? What? There's something. Do I need to get it right this minute? Oh my goodness, did you deliver something right now? Stephanie? Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Should I go get it? Okay. I'm gonna get it in a minute unless y'all tell me to get it because this is live and I feel a little bit like I wanna make sure I use all the time we have and honor you all with the fact that you've given your time to this. Okay, sorry. I love, I think numbers and numerology are wonderful. I think astrology is wonderful. I think of it more like a math and understanding. And Sarah, you've taken some of my classes. The same with like tarot or angel cards or oracle cards. I think all of those are utility that is useful in developing communication with spirit. For me personally, I don't need it. It's just, and oftentimes, hmm, it's like a dream journal. Okay. If you've ever started to want to study your dreams, I can't sit still for very long. Anyways, when you are looking at your dreams, you're getting dreams and you kind of want to study them. The comparison of getting a dream dictionary is kind of similar to numerology, angel numbers, things like this. They have definitions that are very generalized. Auras, when I teach aura reading, it's the same thing. The colors have specific meanings that are very generalized and understood and spoken in that language. However, your intuition gives counsel on what they mean beyond just the dictionary definition. So you may look at a dream dictionary and it may tell you that a certain sign or symbol that you see in your dream means something. But then it may have another layer of it to you personally because that's your favorite number or because that holds a memory of you in the first time you went skiing or something like this. And so snow or ski boots, they may mean something different to you. So there are levels of our multidimensional intuition and communication with spirit where that's one level and layer and it is helpful, but my encouragement is like there's so much more, right? There's so much more. It's like coloring a paint by number. Like, yeah, you can do it and it's helpful at the beginning to give you some structure and to get you used to communicating with the non-physical and asking for a message and receiving a message. Anytime you ask for a message, spirit's going to answer that, right? And anytime you set up a structure and you say, Spirit, can you flow in this way, please? Then Spirit is seeking. If you seek, they are also energetically seeking to speak to you. This is the knock and it shall be given. This is equivalent energy. So if you are an earnest seeker and asking Spirit to speak through numerology and angel numbers and symbols, then Spirit will start to just pour down in your life. You'll see them everywhere. You'll see them on license plates. You'll see them everywhere, right? If not, and you haven't opened that, then they'll find some other way. Or you can just journal to them. I mean, there are a million different ways, but basically finding a way that feels like you are confident in it and you can develop it. Start there, keep working it. That's my encouragement. But there are so many levels that you can continue on. Sometimes I really don't often pull cards. I think they're beautiful. But sometimes I just will look at the imagery. I won't even read what it says on it. I'll just look at the colors and how they speak to me. I'll feel the tone in it. And just similar to the way that you can look at a piece of art and receive the feeling and the energy behind what was created there through the colors and the strokes and every detail that is in the nuance of what was created. So, my answer to that is that spirit will speak to you in the ways you ask them to speak to you. You want them to speak in numbers, they'll speak in numbers. You want, if it's not clear to you, ask spirit to be more clear. Make it really clear to me. Put the sign right in my face. Some people will say, I get dreams, but I don't understand them. I said, then ask spirit to explain it to you. Sit with a piece of paper and say, I want to understand the blue sky. What do I feel like the blue sky means to me? And then sit and think about it. Don't just assume like I don't get the message because it doesn't come like right in my face. um, you have to ask and give time for that information to come to you in the intuitive way that our own soul speaks to us. So give time to it. All right. Good questions. Okay. Aw, thank you, Sarah. You know, it's funny. Sarah said, "Thank you so much. I always appreciate your sage and wise words." I've been thinking because I had to get this emergency hysterectomy. So I had all of that done last month in that emergency. And it's put me into the very physical space of the crone, right? Which I've always related to the crone. I love that wise sage woman of the crone in that phase of mastery, in the archetype of the wise woman. Oh, I have to go. I need to get it. I just saw Stephanie said, yes, go get it. Y'all want me to go get the package? Let me go see. Okay, let's see. I still have my headphones on. Oh, oh, it's flowers. Oh, it's beautiful. Y'all want to see this? Oh, it's beautiful. The colors are so beautiful. Okay, I walked away. Look. Oh, Stephanie, this is so beautiful. Look at the colors. Oh man. Flowers make me so happy. I don't know why, but they do. They just do. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful bouquet. I love the vase too. It's can y'all see that? Oh, it's gorgeous. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Oh, oh, I love that. Thank you. I'm setting them right here in my office. I think they're gonna go in my bathroom with me in my where I get dressed and can reflect with the mirror. I love it. The flowers make me so happy. What perfect timing that it was right now and I got to share it with you guys. I love that. Oh, that makes me so happy. Man, it's so vibrant. My daughter was asking me yesterday what my favorite color is. So my favorite color is almost this blue. If y'all remember that old blue fainting couch that I had, I it's like a very royal blue. That is my favorite color. And then she said, "What's your second favorite color?" And I said, "Magenta." And she was like, "What's magenta?" This right here. This is my second favorite. I just love how vibrant it is. A lot of Indian clothing and saris have that color and it's so bold. I love it. Like hot pink. She was like, "It's hot pink, mom." I was like, "It's magenta." I like that. It's like magnum. Oh, this, my lapis. This is my first favorite color. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna try to get back to you guys. I'm in flower heaven now. They just make me happy. I told Jude that. I said, "Jude, when I went into surgery, I said, I better come out to flowers. That's the only thing I'm gonna request is that when I wake up, I see some pretty flowers." And he did good. He did. He had some flowers come in regularly. Oh, I love it. It just makes me so happy. Okay. Okay. Natalie. Oh, nope. Okay, I'm scrolling up for more questions. Ooh, I see a lot of questions. Sorry, I haven't gotten to them yet. So, Oz, yours says, can we please do a meditation at the end, please? Focus of mental, physical healing or whatever you feel. Oh, awesome. Yes, we can do that. I've been doing lots of love and healing in my meditations lately. Okay. Y'all remind me at the end so we have time. Okay, next question. What is your perspective on the Lionsgate portal and the energies of Cirrus? are beings from Sirius, our ancestors. I had a mystic dream about it tonight, and I'm not sure how to interpret it. Oh, that's beautiful. I would sit with that dream. I would write it down, and then you can always ask for dreams of interpretation, like secondary dreams, because it's a continual space. So I love the Lionsgate portal. The New Age community, we have a tendency to kind of highlight times like this, but there are so many portals. I mean, if you study astronomy, astrology, there are always things going on because our planet is moving through space all the time, right? And it's moving fast, and it's interacting with all sorts of planetary energies, and there's just a lot of interaction. It's never like we're just here and it's quiet for a while and then this. There's always something. So I think some people align with Sirius. I do believe in terms of like our ancestors from non-planetary beings, or beings that didn't originate on this planet. I do believe that there are many ancestral lineages, not just one planet of ancestors. I think that there are many non-planetary races here that we're all connected to. I mean, if you think about our soul from a shamanic perspective, really from a lot of perspectives, and in its eternalness, I mean, I mean, we're eternal. So the sense of like being a part of this lineage or that lineage, it's another story. And I was thinking about this. I was talking to Oz about this in a private conversation. Oz, I hope you don't mind me sharing. But I hesitated with my experience with my health issues this past month to share because it felt like a story, and I didn't feel that connected to the story yet. I felt very conscious, but I felt very aware that it's just a story. It's just a story. And I don't know how much I align with the story because the story was very extreme. I had a very extreme health emergency. I had to get raced to the hospital and I lost all this blood. It was very extreme. And when you tell the story, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm glad, just all of this. And I didn't feel connected really to the story. And I thought, I don't know if I want to share the story because it feels like a story about someone else or a story that I don't know that I identify with. But it did happen to me. It was my life. And yet when I connect this to Sirius or to Lionsgate Portal or this, I kept getting the message from Spirit that really all we are is stories. I had this secondary message like, why do you have a problem with the story? When we pass away, how is someone going to remember you? They're going to tell stories. And the same is true of our ancestral lineage, or when we look at our past lives. A lot of times we do our work, we do so much work on our own shadow, on our own life, and we do our trauma work, we heal, and then we're like, all right, now we got to heal all the past lives and ancestral lineage, and it just goes on forever, right? Because we're eternal. And we find out, oh, what galactic races am I connected to, or what, and it just goes like on and on, and then we have to clear any sort of lineage that may be connected to those planetary experiences that are a part of our DNA, a part of our soul. And it is just a story, right? Although there's energy in those stories that we can align with at certain times that feel like they hold a power of resonance. Talk about earlier when you said, I feel like resonance in that. Resonance to me is a key indicator of what is relevant in that moment. And what energy is very present in your experience right now. It's the now part that says that, yeah, that lifetime that I had on Sirius, or yeah, that experience that I had in the hospital, whatever the story is, that experience from my childhood or a past life or whatever, that it has power in the connection to my now. And I can feel it. I can identify it. I resonate with it. And in that way, it has importance because it's living out of our soul now. Does that make sense? So when you ask about Lionsgate and like, what do I think about it? I think it's an available portal, like a lot of portals. And I'm always like, when portals open, when energy becomes very, very close, to us, when other planets come close, or our planet gets close to another planet, or we move closer to the galactic center, or a certain race is very present because we're thinking about them in the collective. And that is true. We are thinking a lot about the Sirius race because of this connection right now to those that are aware of the Lionsgate portal. When we start all putting our energy into that collective way, we begin connecting with the resonance that may be present for us in this lifetime, which is any sort of aspect or personality trait or aspect from a past life that we may have in that planetary sphere that's relevant for us now, in our now. And when it's available, I always say use it, open up to it, notice it. So that's my encouragement when it comes to portals, when it comes to new moons, when it comes to full moons, when it comes to all of our sense of planetary alignment. I love the sense of connection there and openness. And to me, again, it's just look into that energy of what feels like it's present in your experience now. That's that resonant energy with the stories. And the stories are real, right? Oh, beautiful. Okay. Okay. Pre-Paul. Oh no. My mother, dearest, is extremely hard to mix it up with, but I still do so with unconditional fairy Paul ecstasy. She will yell out when I'm completely nice to her how to handle this better. So, yeah, I get that sometimes from my kiddos or arguments of any kind. Just a question of like how to better handle when people's energy is really abrasive. So first, I would say space, like physical space. There is just an energy of calm that comes when you give yourself a physical boundary of saying, like, I need to move out of the space that feels so energetically abrasive. Sometimes it's just the energy of trauma or something like anger has a very intense energy to it. And those that are sensitive can feel it. The other night, Jude got a cramp in his leg, just like a Charlie horse cramp. Where we were sleeping, it was literally like the dead of the night. And in the middle of the night, he just like jumps out of bed and he's like, ah, just like screaming bloody murder. And I like wake up and I'm like, ah, and he's and just like crying and wincing from the pain. It was just a super painful cramp. And if you've ever had a cramp, like a muscle spasm cramp, they eventually pass. But after that, my energy was so like this. I couldn't sleep because the energy in the room was so full of pain and the screaming that had happened. It was like, okay, and it passed a few minutes later, but it was so intense that the energy stayed. And I'm like, I'm too sensitive to the energy in this room. So sometimes when someone is yelling at you or screaming at you, or even sometimes when it's over the phone, okay, or a text or in a message, you may have to put the phone down and walk to the other room or walk outside. If you can get out in nature, that would be my first piece of advice is like there is a just a natural harmony with nature that wants to create a sense of ease with the human auric field. So when your energy is frazzled like that from an experience of someone yelling at you or just an intensity of the moment, like the one I shared about just rinsing pain all of a sudden. I couldn't shake in the bed that energy of like the intensity of that moment. And so I had to get out for a second, go outside, sit on the hammock, just be outside with the trees. there's a stillness there. If it is very extreme, and I've shared this many times, then I would put your forehead, I would put it on the ground. So basically, lay on the floor, not in the room where that happened, but in a spatial place that is separate, that has an energetic space from it than the one that you were just in, to balance yourself. And then emotionally, on another level, once your energy calms down, it's not really reactive. It feels like it has to do with that person and that frustration. And then your language emotionally can come from us. It says reconnect. Am I still here? Can you guys see me, hear me? It said I had to reconnect. Aw, I love that. Brittany, I love what you said. I got the metaphor that our stories and naming is like zooming in, yes, and using Google Earth. I always use that expression when I teach remote viewing, zooming in and zooming out. Like when you want to get really specific and zoom into a cell or a particular organ, then you zoom out and you pan out and you see how it's affecting the whole system of the body. I love that. Just zoom in and zoom out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the live chat. I hope you guys are still here. It kind of went out on me for a second and said redirecting or reconnecting. Okay. Feel others' emotions and I am alone. How do I know who or where they are coming from? This is usually accompanied by a ringing or a series of popping in my left ear. So I would get, so you're getting communication from the non-physical realm, one of which sounds clairaudient, the others which sounds clairsentient, like an empath. So I would ask. So the if you're getting, if you, I would develop a line of communication and ask where they're coming from. And the way that you can do this, if you've never done it before, is get very binary. So, yes or no questions. And if you can feel others' emotions, then you can ask spirit to speak to you through the feeling of emotion. So, use a line of communication that you know already how to interpret. Meaning, if you already get emotions or feeling others' emotions around you, then say, I want to feel sick or uncomfortable. That's my no. And I want to feel joy and happy if it's a yes. And give spirit, this is the line of communication that I want you to speak in. Remember earlier in this little broadcast, I don't know if y'all were listening, I was talking about numerology and synchronicities, angel numbers, saying that you can ask spirit to speak in any way you want them to speak. This is true with this as well. If you're comfortable with them speaking in emotions because you already know that that's the way that you receive non-physical communication, then ask for a very defined binary yes and no, and get used to that. So do for a while to where you're like, oh yeah, my gut is wrenching at, that's a clear no. Okay. Sometimes people can feel chill bumps. It's a yes. Or they get cold or a hot flash, which is a no or a yes. Give a very definitive, this is what my emotional no and my emotional yes is. And then ask the question. So after a while, when you feel somebody else's emotions, then right after that, after you've identified that this is not my emotion, this is somebody else's I'm feeling, then ask the question, is this mine or is this someone else's? Give me a yes or a no. The yes make me feel joy or peace and ease. The no make me feel uncomfortable or whatever emotion you associate with a no. Okay, it's going to be particular to you and your language with spirit. And then you develop a yes or no communication. Then you can say, is this my grandfather? Or the first person you think of. Oftentimes, it's the first intuitive hit of the person that you think of maybe trying to communicate from the other side in a line of mediumship. Or is this my guide? Or is this my higher self? Or is this whoever? And then you, again, once you've gotten comfortable with what a yes and what a no is, then it's just a direct line of communication that you've developed and you can ask further inquiries. Once you're comfortable with that, then you can kind of get used to the language being larger or going beyond yes or no questions. But really, that's the first place I would say to start, to ask who it is. Good questions. Okay. Let me scroll. Okay. Oh, the same with the popping, accompanied by a series of sometimes certain spirits will have a certain sound, or when they come really close, they kinda have that popping. A lot of times that to me is a sense of, like, they're wanting to speak to me, like, in my clairaudience. So you can always ask that too, "Is someone here? Do they wanna speak with me?" Again, yes or no, this kinda thing. Okay. I'm scrolling back up. Miss Britt, I feel like I've lost my drive. I feel like I have no goals or aspirations and that I'm missing the passionate pursuit that I'm used to. Is that normal part of the healing and growing process? Yes, right? It's a normal part. Think of a life cycle. I think of a death. Oop, I don't want to cancel the live stream. I almost did it. Um, yeah, I think it is. I think it is unrealistic to think that we're going to be on a precipice all the time. You can have peace and contentment, but as we grow and as we age, the experience of what joy feels like or what happiness feels like changes because we're growing and we're changing, and that's okay. I feel like our culture and the culture has kind of done a disservice in its interpretation of what happiness looks like or what going after a goal or an aspiration looks like. And I know I had to remind myself of that also, that growing doesn't just happen like this, right? Like a mountaintop. Growing happens like this. So it's also growing from the bottom, right? If I can scale it out, if it starts here and it gets bigger, spherically, right? You're growing from the bottom, which means grounding or simplicity or moving slower may happen. And this is considered growth, right? Spirit and our soul considers growth from all directions, not just what we have been taught from our youth is there's a goal, you hit certain, you work towards certain milestones, you graduate, you get the certificate, you get the, you know initials behind your last name or whatever it is, and now you're a professor, or now it gives a very linear approach. It also gives a very specific kind of heightened adolescent perspective of happiness where it's like, whoa, yeah! It's like party, it's like extreme, like this is what happiness looks like, right? It doesn't always look like that. Happiness may just be like, I've got some calm in my life and I don't have to make a lot of decisions right now. That's really nice. If we're used to kind of trauma or emergency situations or always being in places where um, it's survival. So when the energy shifts for you and you're expanding multidimensionally, remember like a sphere, starting like a dot and then expounding out, you're going to go in all directions. And you're going to have to first let go of what society deems is happiness, is achievement, right? Success. What is that to you? I would redefine that to yourself because when we mature beyond those paradigms also. And we have to ask ourselves, like, I no longer feel motivated by what used to motivate me. I no longer have drive, like you said, in the way that I used to. Okay, well, maybe you've moved beyond that paradigm. So you have to go into a deeper space of the soul of asking yourself, what really motivates me now? Or what maybe not even in motivation, going to a higher level, what inspires me? What leaves me in awe? What leaves me in mystery? These are even higher levels of contemplation, of imagination, of creation that don't even have a linear expression. They just form and they just expand and they just kind of create and manipulate and multiply cells upon cells upon cells, but they don't often have this um, drive that the linear perspective has. So I want to encourage you in a way that says you don't have to be motivated the way you used to be motivated. Um, Maybe you've gone beyond that, and that's good. That's a good thing. And I know you just sent something in because it just came in. It says, I'm being old. Happiness for me is being at peace, relaxed, in tune with others. So to me, that is beautiful. Me too, man. Me too. I kept saying, and it's been my prayer and kind of meditation for years that, like, no matter what chaos I'm in, that I have that my soul just feels unshakable, that my soul just feels like it's the unchanging in the changing, you know? That I not just, like, have that from a mental frame of mind, but that I am it, that it's just my energy, like, I just hold and emanate that, like, it just is. And so there you go. Then I go through another all of you that know that I went through that recent health craze where it just all came in and it was a lot of chaos because it was all the decisions that you have to make in emergencies of, getting taken to the emergency. You've got to have the surgery like tomorrow. You've got it like now and you're bleeding out and it's all this like, chaos, right? And I did have the experience of absolute peace and rest because I was just so unattached to the experience of it. And from a medical perspective, it probably looked like the fact that I lost so much blood that I just lost the energy to engage. But from a soul perspective, I felt so at ease. I mean, there was nothing to do. There's nothing to do. You're just laying there. I couldn't even open my eyes. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't. So there is, there was a beautiful way that was shown to me of like, it's so simple. I didn't have to do any of that. And yet here I am. There was no doing. It was just a sense of being. And I think about that, Britt, when I think about your question, it seems perfectly peaceful to let go of the way that you used to view motivation and just look for new experiences of inspiration, of things that are beautiful. That's something I love to do, of just like what am I intrigued by is something beautiful or somebody doing something that I've never thought of them doing. There's so much innovation out there in the world right now, and I'm really inspired by it. It's like I don't care anything about creating some motorized drone car, but like when I see it, I'm like, wow, somebody came up with that. Like the brilliant, like I'm like, wow, just beauty and awe. There's growth there of that just expands the mind. It just expands the soul. It expands the consciousness. The same with travel and locations. I'm always just expanded in that way. So, ah, y'all, I I just realized I had my timer go off for 1 o'clock, and we're gonna meditate. I promised it. And I get to all your questions? Let me see. I'm gonna scroll back and see if I did. I don't have any clients after this. Oh, I'm reading that. Hydathy. Did I say that right? You had the same surgery. What made me feel better was having a ceremony for my female organs. It gave me a beautiful closure and also a tummy wrap. Oh, that's really smart, a tummy wrap, because I'm so like I don't want to cough and laugh and sneeze. I always like want to put a pillow on my belly, and but I still feel those things, and I always want to laugh, and I always want to uh, be able to do that. So a tummy wrap, that's brilliant. I'll have to look that up. Thank you for sharing that. And I love the idea. I felt very balanced actually. By moving into letting go of my ovaries and uterus. I got to see them, which was really cool. Um, and and I didn't get to hold them, but I got to see them. And I just thought it was really beautiful. And then I felt very balanced in my body. I think I just do. I think the balance of the masculine and feminine, I've always had a lot of masculine energy um, within me in many lifetimes as that and very comfortable in my masculinity. So this feels very balanced to me. I really enjoy it, although my body's catching up. My spirit feels balanced in it, but my body is still finding its place and things are kind of shifting to fill in space and moving, and I can feel all that. So I love the idea of the ceremony. I'm always speaking and moving um, with my own hands and kind of playing with that creative energy. It feels like a sculptor, being able to sculpt and move things around. It's interesting how illness can give us such perspective on things that maybe we've always been able to do, but we never did, you know? I love that. I love that. I would like to honor those organs. Okay, I am going to do a meditation. It may be short, but I just want to honor your questions and make sure that I answered as many as I could. And since I don't feel so pressed for time, because I don't have a client right after this, which I normally do. See how beautiful this is? Oh, Stephanie, thank you so much. I love my flowers. Like, y'all don't realize, like, maybe everybody's like that, but I was not always like that with flowers. Like, but this is a beautiful arrangement too. You picked out a gorgeous arrangement, like the colors. Look at that. See, that's another thing. Somebody made that. Somebody, somebody put that together with their hands and picked those out. I love it. Man, it smells awesome too. Oh, okay. Let's meditate. I think I answered all of them. Mimi, it's nice to see you. Also, thank you. I am when people ask, "How are you doing? How are you doing?" My answer is I'm getting stronger every day. And every time I have pain, I'm just like, I am strong. I am strong. I don't know why pain makes you feel strong, but it makes me feel strong. Like the grit of it. Because I didn't want to do the pain medication because it was kind of like messing with my stomach and but pain makes me feel freaking like unstoppable when I can like I don't know if I'm weird like that. I feel like I can like grit through it like you know. Okay. Anyways, let us meditate for a bit. Let's just share our energy. Let's just share our energy. We can do it just a quick meditation. So if you can and would like to share in the energy, I would love to just create. When Paul was talking about that spin, let's just create that spin or that vortex. And we are in that openness of the Lionsgate portal, which has that connection to higher, higher, higher vibrational energy. And this is a lot of mind energy. So use that mind. So I'd love to just put your feet firmly on the floor, your butt or your thigh is just getting grounded connection with the floor. And then relax your shoulders and just drop as deeply as you can drop into the moment of meditation, which means relax your body. Like everything out, 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 and do it as deeply as you can do it. Just drop it. And then get very, very still. And if you couldn't drop it all in the first drop, just keep dropping, dropping, dropping. Letting your shoulders drop, your hips drop, the weight of your body drop, your forehead and your jaw, everything dropped. And from this space, that grounded center, let's spin. So we're going to create this energy vortex, similar to a tornado, if you want to hold that imagery. We're going to spin our energy to the right around our body. Although we are centered, we are spinning, spinning, spinning. And I want you to see as if you had arms coming out of your shoulders wide here to counterbalance yourself, like a T, having your arms out wide while your body is spinning, rotating towards the right, round and round and round. And the more you spin, let the energy get wider and wider and wider, as if we're creating this tornado that's spreading wider and wider and wider. And now I want you to see the center line of your body, the top of your head, grow taller, and the bottom of your spine grow longer, as if a center pole in the body is growing up into the heavens and down into the earth. Taller and taller and taller, and the more that we spin to the right, the more expansive the energy comes out from us and up from us, out and up, out and up, out and up, out and up. Just let it grow. And I want you to place a color in the center of that tornado vortex you've created. Any color that feels relevant to you, a color that feels like healing and soothing and loving. Anything that you might need. As if you could place a dropper of color in there. Maybe it has multiple colors. Maybe it's sparkling with all the colors of the rainbow. And then I want you to place your body, the identity of your body, your name, as if you can see a small version of yourself in the center of that vortex, letting itself be spun. It's not getting dizzy, it's just beautifully getting spun, like it's in the center of a whirlpool of color and magnitude. And by now, this vortex is so wide and so tall, and it feels so good, just like you're in a whirlpool, a hot tub of energy, soothing your body in all ways that it needs to be soothed and healed. As if those colors are moving inside of your body now through the pores to heal. You may see certain places, certain people, certain aspects of your life now inside that vortex, letting you know they are being healed right now. Now. And it's so easy. All you have to do is receive. And I want you to take your palms right now and place them together like a prayer position. And when you do this, notice the sensation of everything stops. You're in control of that energy. And that tornado has come to a stop. The vortex stops spinning. You're in complete stillness. It's easy. No abrupt stop, just a simple done. Sit here and notice the peace and the stillness. And just say thank you. Thank you for my healing. Thank you for my life. Thank you for this moment. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I'm sending my love to you all. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you again next month.